Hi friends, welcome to CodeNet, and today we want to understand how we can implement comments in HTML. A comment, people might start asking, hey, are these the actual silly comments and other comments that might be passed in class or anything related to that? Well, no. A comment in programming is defined as simply a type of code that is not executed. And here in HTML, we can define them as simply the code that is not displayed by the browser. But what's the importance of implementing the code that might not even be displayed by the browser? You will see the importance as I implement them here as we are doing the practicals now. So to implement a comment, we just use what is called a comment tag. And they follow this syntax. Of course, a less than sign and an exclamation point, that's the point, the exclamation point, then followed by two consecutive minus signs, the sign that's on the same key on your keyboard with an underscore, but not an underscore, no, the minus sign, two consecutive minus sign, again followed by two consecutive minus sign, then a greater than sign. This is how a comment is definitely implemented. This is the actual implementation of the comment. Then the actual code that you don't want to be executed by the browser should be in between. So write the comment in between. So this is where we now place our comments. So hey, they are not executed by the browser, but why do we need the comments? Well, imagine if you've been maybe assigned to create a huge program, maybe a certain project that will require you maybe to write, let's say, about 60,000 lines of code, and then after 1 week, then you realize that okay, the boss or the person that hired me wants me to make some changes on the actual code that I implemented. That means if you are to make some changes, you need to be double checking each and every line of code where you worked on. Each and every line, you like debug, double check, where did I implement this? But due to that, and to reduce on the time that might be needed for you to double check the code and do some implementation, this is why we have what we call comments. Comments, they act as types of codes that can be used if you want to document your code. For example, I can say, okay, at this section, following the same syntax, definitely, the less than sign, the exclamation mark, and of course the two minus signs, and then the code in between, and then the two minus sign, then the greater than sign. I can say now coding about the formatting of HTML. So definitely, even the next time when I will open this code, this of course the actual source code that I have, I will definitely know that at this point I was creating the formatting of HTML. Hence it will even be easy for me to remember and recall the actual thinking that I had at the time when I was implementing this. Even the same can happen. Okay, here I'm talking about mathematics and anything related to that. So I can implement a comment saying, okay, here now coding about math. And definitely I will remember, okay, yeah, this is where I was coding about mathematics, and actually I even implemented a superscript which is simply 40 to the power of 6, hence having comments. So comments can again be used when we want to debug our source code. For example, there are certain times when you might want to eliminate certain codes or certain lines of codes because they might be inappropriate at that time. For example, here we were saying, okay, currently clothes are being sold at 45, and here we are saying, okay, clothes were being sold at 58. But imagine if it was maybe a promotion that will come back again after 3 months. It might not be appropriate if we were to just delete this line of code. Why delete if it will be needed again in future? So we can just implement definitely a comment. Let's bring back the text because we will need it again in future. We can just implement a comment for we to eliminate this thing. Actually, let's just go back on our browser. We even see how it is being implemented and displayed for we to see the actual effect of comments. If we refresh, the comments that we've implemented, they won't be shown here. They are not meant for the other user. They are meant for the person who's looking at the actual code. Let's go back on our IDE now. Since this code will be needed in future, no need to just eliminate it completely. No need. Hence, let's just cut this and then implement this inside a comment, because it won't be showed on the browser. If we go back on our browser now, you can tell that here we were saying, okay, currently they have been sold at 45, but what if the promotion ends? This won't be needed. Hence we just say, of course, we refresh and it's now eliminated. Hence, just to change the price, okay, they are now being sold at 58. But again, in future, when we might need to bring back this code, we'll just delete the comments outside this code and also delete from here. And when we go back on our browser again, we'll see that once we refresh, it will be, of course, displayed. Currently, they are being sold at 45. So this is the actual work and the implementation of comments. Comments can be used when we want to document our code. They allow and also remind the actual person who was creating the code the purpose and why he was implementing certain types of code in the actual source code. And also, if let's say I'm working on this source code and then I need to transfer it to someone maybe who's somewhere far away from where I am, let's say that person is in India, then it means once I implement the comments, that person will easily understand what I was trying to create. Hence, he also will embed his own code inside the actual source code that I was working on. So this is the actual use of comments, and from now we'll start implementing multiple comments in our codes as we progress in our course of HTML. Please don't forget to subscribe, and you are on CodeNet.